Hello, welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. I'm Silver, and our lovely co-host.
Chaotic! I don't know if it's lovely, but
Yes, lovely.
he's a liar.
Both chaotic and speedy, but not on speed.
That's questionable. But yeah.
Your VTuber's eyes just had a moment.
Yeah, well, they have lots of moments. Almost half my stream clips are just my VTuber having a fucking moment. So I feel like everybody just waits for it in the lurking.
Well, chaotic. Are you familiar with the monster that we are covering?
I am not.
We are covering a yokai that goes by the name of a Ōgama.
There's no motherfucking way.
Mm-hmm.
No.
There's no fucking way Ōgama is real. Anyways, continue.
So, an Ōgama, since you don't know much about it, is a toad.
Oh.
But it's not just any toad. Actually, yes, it's just a toad. It's just a really old toad.
It's just a really old toad?
Yes.
Is this why you sent me the thought?
You mean Toad from Mario?
The thought? Yeah.
Toad in Mario's name and thigh is Thought.
In Thai?
Thigh.
Thigh in thigh. Thigh and thought. Which makes it funny because if it's pronounced Thai, it's probably tot. But I refuse to think that because thought is funnier. And by thought we mean THOT, as in, you know.
No, that was just separate because I was going to see if Toad's name in Japanese in the Japan games was actually Ōgama, because Ōgama means toad.
Ōgama means toad.
But no, it is not.
What is it in Japanese? Just toad?
I didn't write his actual name down, but Toad's name in Japan stems from mushroom, not actual toadstool.
Considering he is a mushroom. Whatever, I guess.
Well, that toad is not our topic for today. We can do a Mario episode later, maybe.
Fantastic.
Because who knows what a Bowser is. But the Ōgama is a regular Japanese toad.
Mm-hmm.
And once it reaches the ripe old age of 1,000 years old, it transforms into an Ōgama, which means it starts growing exponentially to where it becomes human size or larger, even as large enough to be mistaken as a boulder where people sit upon. With this growth, it also gains human intelligence and a very important ability that is not really explained upon. He breathes out a rainbow-colored breath attack.
Okay.
Which was kind of one reason for picking him for this episode for this month. He also carries with him a spear. Where a toad gets a spear, I'm not sure, unless he just robbed somebody. Because they are not very nice because they actively hunt humans when they get big enough. Another one of the main weapons they have that is at their disposal is their tongue, as it is agile and sticky. If they catch you with it, they drag you into their mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, until they're big enough to catch humans, though, they do just eat birds and snakes and bugs.
Birds, snakes, and bugs.
Yes.
So if it's a toad, I would be interested to see a toad versus a snake. I feel like that's a stretch.
There is toads that eat snakes. Have you ever seen a Goliath toad?
I don't think I have.
They're very large toads. They might be considered frogs. Anyways, that's actually all there is on the Ōgama. I've looked for podcasts. I've looked for YouTube videos. I've looked for other internet sites. The main one I kept coming back to is yokai.com. But it did lead me to a music artist that was kind of neat, that has good songs. And this music artist's name is Rainbow Frog Biscuits.
I'm sorry. Did I hear that right? Rainbow Frog Biscuits.
Yes.
That's what my brain just processed.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They got really good songs. This small artist, Rainbow Frog Biscuits. Looking at monsters sometimes brings you to some different music. Yeah. Any questions on the Ōgama so far? Since that's pretty much all its abilities and all it's known about it. Oh, it also lives in the woods, in mountains and streams, because it's a toad.
Okay. I would hope. Not a thought, just a toad.
Not even a thoughty toad.
Now I'm picturing Toad as Patrick with the fishnets.
That's what happens when Toad gets the super crown.
Exactly.
A little shorter episode today, but on the media, I do have a story.
Hit me with it.
In Niigata Prefecture, a man went deep into the mountains to fish in a pond. He sat down on a boulder by the water's edge and cast his line into the water. A fisherman on the other side of the pond noticed him, and his face suddenly went pale. And he packed up all his gear and quickly left. He motioned to the man sitting across that had just sat down to do the same, and then he quickly took off. The man that just sat down did as he was told and also ran into the woods after the other fisherman. When he found him, the fisherman that first ran off asked, "Didn't you notice the boulder you were sitting on had massive eyes red as fire?" And then it yawned. When the two returned to the pond to see the boulder the man had sat upon was gone without any trace. He then realized he had been sitting on an Ōgama. And that is the story.
That's the whole thing. I don't know why I was waiting for more, I guess.
He just sat on a toad. The toad woke up, then left.
Okay. So Toji just tried to sit on a toad.
Yeah. He probably would have been eaten if he stayed there.
Probably.
Another kind of older story that is kind of famous in Japan is called The Tale of the Gallant Jiraiya, where the hero Jiraiya shapeshifts into a giant toad, and he is also seen depicted as riding on giant toads. And the story involves toad magic, a princess who is accomplished in slug magic, and a villain who uses serpent magic, or snake magic. Does this sound familiar to you, Chaotic?
It does not. I feel like it should, but it does not.
Yeah. You weren't quite as big as an anime in high school.
I was, but I had to be undercover, so I only watched the basic bitch animes. You know what I mean?
Are you familiar with Naruto?
No. I never got into Naruto and I never got into Dragon Ball Z, which is I did ish to Dragon Ball Z, but not like hardcore. I don't know half of what like Mage knows. But yeah, no, I mostly watched like Inuyasha in the mornings, like early in the mornings, stuff like that because my parents didn't like anime.
Well, in Naruto, there's this group called the Three Sannin, which are like the three strongest warriors in the village at one point, which had Jiraiya, a toad sage, Tsunade, a slug sage, who could summon slugs, and then Orochimaru, who could summon snakes, and then eventually turned on the group and was the villain, which kind of follows the whole tale of the gallant Jiraiya. But other than that, the Ōgama can be seen in Neo as a boss battle.
Oh.
Instead of wielding rainbow-colored smoke, they gave him a pipe, so it's just tobacco smoke.
Oh.
Onigiri, the video game, also has a kind of accurate description of him. A toad that lives for a long time, has rainbow-colored breath. It appears in Yokai Watch. It appears in Yu-Gi-Oh! As a card. And back in Naruto, like we mentioned earlier, the style of fighting that Naruto and like Jiraiya use is Ōgama Ryu, which means giant toad style, because they summon toads to fight.
Okay.
That's pretty much everything I could find about the Ōgama, looking into many sources. There's not very much about it.
So what about our mayhem? What are you feeling mayhem wise?
Mayhem wise, mayhem. He'd probably just be a student. He just gained his intelligence when he awoken as a yokai. He can chase down other classmates.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is he that kid that gets sat on?
Yes, both involuntarily and voluntarily.
Yeah, that feels about right. I was also the kid that got sat on, so I get it. So the toad is officially the guy that gets sat on.
Yes.
What a vibe. What a vibe.
I don't think he caused very much mayhem in normal society, because as he is just a toad, I think normal bullets and stuff would take care of him if he starts charging at you with a spear.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not much of a threat unless you walk into the mountains alone.
And even then, I think we'd just hang out together.
I mean, he does actively eat people, so
No, we'd hang out. I'd sit on him and we'd be fine.
that's pretty much all my mayhem, unless you had more mayhem to add.
I do not.
Just a little toady guy that breathes rainbows.
I love that he's trippy as shit in some of these.
I mean, he uses his rainbow breath to kind of stun you so he can catch you easier. But yeah, well then, I guess we'll wrap it up. A little shorter episode after a long episode. It's always long, short, long, short.
Sometimes every now and then, if we've got like a guest episode coming up right after one of our long ones, we'll get double long. But for the most part, yeah, it's usually like long, short.
Yeah. Well then, we like to thank our patrons of Mondi, Mage, and Ruby.
On In Case of Monsters Break Glass should be coming out by next Friday. So by the time this releases, hopefully within the next week. And then the Bird and I did announce that we'll be recording our first episode next week. So that'll be coming out beginning of July. And if anybody would like to read along with us, we're reading the 4th book of the Chicago Ruthless series, Carries. And you can read the other 3 if you want. You don't have to technically, but it kind of helps follow the storyline of the family. We're going to kind of do that each month where we give everybody enough heads up that they could get a hold of the book and read it if they'd like and share in our thoughts. For right now, we are not actively looking for guests, but we will eventually have guests on. So that's something for them to think about. And other than that, no, I don't have any. Those are my 2 main announcements. We got a lot of stuff coming for the podcast. So
Lots of things.
I'm excited for our next In Case of Monsters as well.
Ooh, it's after the Hydra, right?
Yes.
You left it on the cliffhanger, kind of.
Yeah, I did.
Well, other podcast news-wise, we have reached, as of today, we have reached over 5,000 plays.
Woohoo! I can't believe we've come that far.
We're close to our goal for the entire year already. We keep growing more and more, which...
What was our goal for the year?
I thought it was 6,000.
Oh, we hit that easy peasy.
Yeah, because we
got this.
We did 1,000, but we hit 1,500, and then we went 3,000 for the year 2, and we hit that easy. Then now it's just doubling from 3,000 to 6.
Wait until we're able to use some of our money saved up and go like see Mothman and stuff and do some live recordings.
Yeah,
it'd be exciting.
Also, we had a big intake of listeners on Audible.
We love that. Audible for the goat.
Yes, if you're listening on Audible, thank you. I'm not sure how you found us on Audible because I don't see those stats. But yeah.
We don't know how you found us, but we're happy you're here.
Yes. Same with iHeartRadio and Spotify and iTunes, which are our 4 biggest ones. With that, thank you all for joining us. And Chaotic for the outro.
Thank you for listening to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. Silver and Chaotic take you into the depth of the lore and discuss how these legends could affect modern-day society. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or almost any podcast service easiest to you. Dive into the depths of chaos with us every Wednesday, bar Silver and Chaotic not missing their scheduling, and consider joining the podcast Discord or Twitter following even more insider looks and even some D&D sessions. If you'd like some extra special inside looks or even want to be a guest on the show, consider helping us via Patreon. Your help makes such a big difference to us both. Until next time, Mythics, you never know what kind of mayhem we might get into.